All right, folks, it's Thursday, October 16th. Do I have everything? I do. All right. I can't really see, but oh well. Oh my shit. I really can't see. This is probably not smart. My window's open. I can't see a fucking thing. I mean, I can with the little bit of room that I have. Oh, that's better. Yeah, I like this de-icer stuff, but I don't like it when it fogs up my windows. Which I'll probably start bringing a cloth in here somehow to wipe the inside, if it's constantly fogged up. But anyway, it's Thursday. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm doing all right. Still a little nervous about next week, but hey, I'm glad they gave me a week to breathe about it. I have been waking up early, actually. I have been waking up at literally 5 o'clock. I woke up at 4:45, but since I didn't need to wake up that early yet, I fell back to sleep. And then, but I see, the nice thing is about me going back to sleep, unless it's a few hours early, my body will actually more so be on a rest mode as opposed to like sleep. So, once you're in a deep sleep, that's it, which is kind of rare sometimes if I know I gotta wake up within the hour. So, I'll just sit there with my eyes closed and just rest, I'll just rest while, because it helps feel like you're sleeping longer, when you're rest moding, as opposed to actual deep sleep, honestly. But as long as you're well rested, then hey, that's what's up. So anyway, today's Thursday. Yeah, the last half of the week already, and my last half of the week working at the hospital, because like I said, I'm moving down the street to a medical clinic, so I'm not actually in the hospital anymore. I don't know. I think I'm still working for the hospital, obviously, but just obviously now that I'm on a new team and all that stuff, obviously things are going to be different. Scheduling is going to be different. Hence I get there earlier than everybody else. I leave earlier than everybody else. And I don't know how the holidays and all that work. I just know it's closed Monday through Friday, so nobody works there Monday through Friday, which is nice. And holidays, I don't know if they're closed holidays. Like I said, I don't know if like Christmas comes around and it's closed. That means all of us are off, which is awesome, So then the hospital themselves don't call us to work up there or nothing like that. They gotta bug someone else in the dining team to stay. But I'll have to ask. I'll have to ask Max or somebody. So, yesterday, not much really happened yesterday, honestly, at work. At work, there was a couple bit of scuffles with Kyle, but they weren't, really argumentative. But, I don't know, Kyle felt, for whatever reason, yesterday, I felt like Kyle was competing with me for some reason. So, he was talking with me, and I think this is true, because my mom sometimes has a hard time with me, And I'm very chill. But then I'm not chill. You know what I mean? Sometimes I could be a dick, I could be a bitch sometimes. But, you know, sometimes the dishes aren't done and my mom gets fucking hissy fit about it, which, again, I get it, right? Kyle, on the other hand, he was telling me, you know, I don't think your mom would last with us. If she had me and my siblings as a kid, she would probably not survive. I was like, you know, I think you might be right, you know, because, yeah, you know, if my mom has a hard time with me and my sister, and she's almost quit on us a couple times, it's just like, even though you really can't, you know, it's just like, who knows how things would have been if my mom was Kyle's mom. But he was like trying to make himself to be like the worst. I don't know why his brain does that. He's not a sadomasochist, but he wants to be seen from people as extremely violent, extremely dark, which I don't get why people want to be seen like that. You know what I mean? If I had shit going on, I don't want people knowing about it. You know what I mean? But he wants to be seen by people as a very dark, torturous, awful human being for some reason, and I don't really get that. So, again, I know Kyle's cool at heart because, you know, like my other coworker, Chris. I never really talk about him much, but actually I might have. I'm not sure. But, you know, Kyle talks about himself like he's this awful person that my mom would pass out if she seen him. I was like, dude, my mom was around a ton of awful people who actually have done things. Like, I don't think you'd really be that threatening to her in the sense of, you know, like instant pass out level. Because my mom has told me stories about people. You know, this guy got arrested already. He's already in prison for life. But I guess they knew a guy who had 3 bodies in his trunk while she was in California. And that's what he got caught with. He got caught by the police with 3 bodies in his trunk. So, you know, his name was Chewy or some shit like that. You know. But, yeah, my mom was a prison guard at the women's prison up in Gig Harbor. There were mass murderers there. There were serial killers. The real female serial killers. Not with a high body count, but real female serial killers, you know. You know, mass murderer killed her whole family, 6 people with her boyfriend, you know. It's just like Kyle, for whatever reason, I don't know, was very like wanting to get the point across yesterday that he's an awful person. But he wanted to use my mom for some reason. But he was just conversating, you know. He's not actually that awful of a guy. He's really not. I don't see him as the things he says, you know, because he's not. I mean, anybody can be violent. Anybody can be violent. Anybody can do some terrible shit. They could be the nicest guy in the world, and look, they got 5 people under their belt. You know what I mean? Just saying. You know, they could be the nicest guy in the world. You know, anybody could be a serial killer. Anybody. And or whatever, you know. I mean, like, but Kyle, man, he's more of a barker, really. I wouldn't doubt, though, he knows how to fuck someone up, because he's a big dude who's wrestled, who's football, but, you know, like you don't want to go around telling people I'm a dangerous guy with a dark mind. And, you know, same with Chris. Chris was doing the same shit, but Chris is, you know, I don't take as much serious either. But still, they're big guys who probably know how to get physical, you know. So I don't doubt that. I'm not saying they're pieces of cakes that I could fuck them up or nothing like that. But I have told Kyle I will fuck not. And it was the heat of the moment when I said this, because it was fresh when I got into the fight with Jeannie. I was like, if you touch me, I told Kyle, if you touch me, just a heads up, if I'm in a fight and you put your hands on me, I'm sorry if I do, but I'ma fuck you up. That's what I told him. I was like, I'll fuck you up if you get into the fight and you're picking a fight with me. And he backed up. And again, it wasn't to scare him. It was the heat of the moment because I was pissed off because of the whole Genie fight. And it was literally the same day. I was just... He thought I was going to lunge at Genie. He thought I was going to beat up Genie. And I was like, no, I wasn't going to fucking fight Genie like that. You got to put your hands on me to scuffle like that. You got to really piss me off personally to do that. Like Genie pissed me off, but not on a whole nother level to where I'm going to beat her ass and get fired and arrested. No. You know, it was when Kyle was like, I was going to step in, and I was just like, dude, I'm going to tell you this now. If you step into a fight that I'm in physically, just be aware I might fucking start wailing on you. And he was like, oh, no, dude, I get it, man. You know, he wasn't like, no, I'm going to fuck you up. He didn't say nothing like that. He was very back-off-ish, you know, but there are those days where even I'm like that, where I'm like, no, I get it, man. He's like, you know, I could fuck someone up, you know, sometimes he'll tell me that. He'd be like, well, you know, I'm just like, no, man, I get it. He's like, if you this or that, he's like, then, you know, I'm a wacky one, you know, like, he'll say things, but not onto the extreme, and I'll just be like, no, and someone did the same thing to me. He's like, one time he put his finger in my face, and I pretended to bite it, and this was literally this week. He was like, oh, dude, I'm gonna whale you if you did that. I'm like, no, for real, though, I don't blame you. If someone bit my finger, I'm gonna fuck them up, too. That's what I told him. But it was just to agree, but at the same time show that I'm not trying to really take getting punched in the face, because, you know, like, sometimes people say that just for laughs. So I just chime in like, no, I get it. You know what I mean? I need to get gas after work. So, but anyway, yeah, he's been very competitive these last couple days for some reason. I don't know why. But like I said, like, when we would talk, it'd be like to kind of an extreme level, to where even I'm like having to be standoffish with him for some reason. And I don't want to keep doing that with him. So there was this commercial yesterday, and I don't know if he says sweet erosion or sweet motion. It's like sweet erosion. I can't stand that fucking song. I mean, it's a good song, but when it's constantly everywhere, I hear it a lot in commercials, family outings, the NHL apparently for some reason, you know, country, you know, children's music. It's just like, bro, you know what I mean? It's like Highway to Hell when it's constantly used over and over again. It starts to get annoying, you know what I mean? But they're not bad songs. They're not bad songs, you know. So he was like telling me he was going to use that as ammunition. He was like, oh, basically he kept telling me I signed my death warrant, and I was like, dude, don't do that. That's going to piss me off. That's what I told him. I was like, that's going to piss me off. That's going to get me upset. You know. But I wasn't saying that to be scary. It's just like, this was yesterday, by the way. But he didn't say anything. And I explained to him, they're not bad songs. They're not bad songs. It's just, you know, it's annoying hearing them, you know, constantly, over and over somewhere. And, you know, not all over the place, but like it very like more than once you hear it in a movie or a TV show. Rock this way, you know. It's just like I can't tell you where I've heard it, but it bugs the shit out of me every time it appears somewhere in a kid's movie, in you know, a commercial, not so much a video game, but, you know, so kind of like that. But yeah, that was more so just yesterday, right? And as for David, on the other hand, David and I, we've actually been kind of quiet, not really talking much with each other these last couple days either for some reason. But in other news, Genie is back. Yeah, Genie is back, apparently. She's back on the base. She actually got her stuff back. over the week. She actually found her stuff that she lost a couple of months ago somehow. And, yeah, you know, they found her stuff. So, she's not back in the group yet. I think they're waiting to get rid of me to move me down in the building before she comes back. But Jeannie is going to drive everybody nuts in that group, you know. So Jeannie better learn to shut the fuck up and just work, you know, and not bitch and complain and be a demanding, selfish asshole with David and Kyle, you know. So, but either way, I'm not working with her again, so that I'm happy about for the most part. I just feel bad for David and Kyle if she's moving back in the group with them, you know, because Kyle and David have both told me they're both gonna quit. And yeah, jobs are hard to find, but they both told me they were gonna quit if they keep putting her back in the group. And you know what? I don't blame them. I feel like my finger needs to be popped, but I can't pop it. But anyway, yeah, so I went home. I still gotta upload the videos, actually, but I made a part 2 and a part 3, I think. They're kind of sloppy, but I wasn't trying to really play to sound good. I was more so just showing so I finally made a video of my Morley Power Wah, which is my new pedal. It's used. It's heavily used. It's cracked up. It's got dirt in those areas from shoes, but it works. You know, it works. And for $100, it's pretty damn amazing. I really like it, honestly. Used or not, as long as it works. But I do plan on getting the Cliff Burton Power Wah, which is also a Morley, but that's like $200. But I'm gonna wait till after I get the Rickenbacker done. But I do have plans of other guitars after that. I just really need to get my shit figured out with you know, my finances. Now that I got a raise, you know, I got to be on top of that after my guitar's done. And, you know, I'm only bringing this credit card for gas and some food, and then that's it. I can't fucking keep blowing my credit card money, man. I can't keep doing that. That's the shitty thing about getting paid every 2 weeks, you know. It's, you know, you kind of have to scrounge that second week, you know what I mean? Because this gas only literally lasts a week, and then I'm out of gas. And then I'm stuck having to scrounge around what the fuck I'm gonna do until the next check. But anyway, yeah, I'll make a part 2. My mom's calling me.